Welcome to Little Legend Studio, the new Little Legend Studio. We're in new digs. Oh, look how gorgeous. Well, you can only see a little bit at the moment. We'll do a guided tour later on. Testing a new setup. I have this gorgeous new miniature in front of me. I could not resist doing an unboxing of it. So let's have a look at Fulgrim Transfigured. Fulgrim Transfigured, one of the most hotly anticipated releases of the Heresy. The first resin demon Primarch released. Right off the bat, starts with a little bit of a disappointment because we haven't got those gorgeous cases. The Horus Heresy range, especially the character range, have a premier feel to them. They are pristine, they are a premium product. You pay through the nose through them for a very good reason. But with this, the presentation lets it down ever so slightly because it doesn't come in those Horus Heresy box sets. Instead, it comes in a rather plain white box. Yeah, it doesn't really get you pumped up for it. When you buy like a premium watch, like a Rolex or something like that, it comes in the presentation is important. How you present your work is important. With this, I don't think it does the model justice. So let's have a look at the instructions. We're going to have a quick flick through these. We're not going to spend a tremendous amount of time on this, but it is really nice. We have this digital layout of the Primarch and how the bits go together. I remember it used to be these dodgy photographed copies of how you put kits together. Now everything's pristine, everything is beautiful and perfect and well laid out. You can see where absolutely everything goes. Thank you so much for this. Excellent presentation, premium quality, feels like it befits a product like this. Okay, let's take out the parts. Okay, right up. So these are the two cases, but that isn't what I want to look at first. I want to look at the wings first. Let's take them out. That is freaking huge. They are monstrous. What can we compare them to? So this is sprue of Mark IV Marines. You can see just how big Fulgrim is in comparison. This model is gigantic. It is ginormous. These are the two wings. Doesn't look like there's much mold release agent on there. They have a matte sheen to them. So whenever you deal with Forge World products, you do want to wash them. More often than not, you only need to use warm soapy water, and that's fine. In other cases, you might want to put them through a more advanced wash. You could use something like Swarfiga to do that, but with this, just warm soapy water looks like it'll be good enough. Excellent texturing on the wings, got some nice membranes, some nice detailing. Okay, that's a really nice detail. Let's zoom in on this. Got that demonic face. And you have these extra growths leading into it. Beautiful. Yeah. So this feels like a premium product. This feels like digital sculpting has copped quite a bad name for itself, understandably, because a lot of digital sculptors, I can't say I wouldn't be guilty of this, rely on pre-made features and copy and paste. When it comes to things like, I don't know, leather satchels or leather things to go on the back of your Marines, I can understand that. Copy and paste, you don't need to design that from the ground up. When it comes to a product like this, when it comes to a Primarch, you do want to see each and every detail expressed. So when we look at the membranes, for example, oh, okay, there's a little bit of a copy paste here. As you can see how it comes down here. It's the same pattern along here. I wonder if it's on the back as well. Yeah, on the back as well. Oh no, that's slightly different. Okay, that's slightly different. I mean, it's not really recognizable. It's not really noticeable. I have seen some commentators say online that this isn't your usual Forge World resin, that it's slightly bendier. Forge World resin is pretty bendy anyway. It's pretty flexible. It's not going to break. It's not going to shatter unless you drop it off the side of the table, in which case anything's going to shatter. Plastic, resin, metal especially. It's the normal Forge World stuff. Normal Forge World resin. Nothing different there. Okay, let's have a look at the main event. Let's have a look at the face. Oh my lord. My dog is chasing a bee around the new studio. Please keep it down, Riley. Okay, Fulgrim's face. The last sculpt received a lot of criticism over his face. That is beautiful. That is such a beautiful sculpt. It's symmetrical. It's classically good looking. Very, very nicely rendered. Very, very nice sculpt. Absolutely beautiful. But it has a hint of cruelty as well, especially around the upturned smile. It's a very cruel smile he has. Yeah, that's beautiful. I could spend hours looking at that. Okay, then we have other details. Zoom out again. Okay, so look at these other details. Okay, what should we look at? Okay, let's look at this first. Okay, some writing on the inside. Oh, I wonder. Okay, where's the rest of this arch? Okay, it comes with this base. Yeah, Saturnine. So this is a famous battle in the Horus Heresy, the Saturnine Wall. So this is a depiction of Fulgrim at Terra. Just looking at some of the scales, some of the patterning on here. What's really nice to see is that it would have been so simple to have simply created these scales and left them blank. But you can see Simon's gone to the extra effort to add these little membranes, these little individual details on the inside. The head pops out, the detailing is there. It looks like every portion of this miniature has been given due attention and care. When it comes to 3D sculpting, again, it's not a criticism of 3D sculpting or 3D sculptors, it's just an easier way to copy and paste something, mass replicate something. It's human nature to look for that easier solution. But with this, you're taking the medium, this new medium, the CAD design that we have. I feel like this artist is elevating it. Looking at the body. Perhaps it's unfair to say that Simon produced this alone, because I know with Sanguinius that it was a team effort. So somebody else did the wings, and I think somebody else did the sword. So I'm really not sure. I wish I could credit the artists, but unfortunately we just simply don't know who they are. But I think in the main, Simon developed this piece. Oh, that's a really cool detail on the back. You have the bodice, but made of skin. That's a real Hellraiser type of detail. Yeah, this sculpt, really crisp. Yeah, really nice, crisp, detailed sculpt. Everything's has beautiful clarity to it. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. So if you're ever considering buying a Forge World sculpt, I would advise getting an early copy because the molds, they wear out over time. So if anybody's bought like a Krieg kit recently, I mean, at time of recording, it is the 16th of November 2023. This miniature's just come out. The mold is brand new. Buy miniatures early because the mold will wear out and it will produce imperfect copies of it later on. When they changed the molds, I simply don't know. It's a bit potluck. So if you are interested in buying the miniature, it is always worth getting it nice and early. Some really nice details. Again, everything's crisp, everything's clear, very easily readable. You have these beautiful details on the armor. I mean, the more you look at it, you can even see the little detailing that the artist has put on the horns sprouting out from the side. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Even something as simple as the shape, this serpentine shape, it looks alive, it looks living, it looks natural. And this is something that an artist would have, you can see they would have studied the movements of snakes, of lizards, and tried to replicate it on here. This beautiful shield. Oh, sorry, no, this goes on the on his stomach, I think. This would be great to use on a like Chaos Warrior or Chaos Lord for fantasy. Maybe cut that off, create a shield with it. Just, it's crawling with detail, absolutely crawling, absolutely festooned with detail. Got a nice couple of rocks there. Again, that serpentine weave. Look at this, how it looks believable, it looks genuine when you look at it. I mean, every portion of this miniature is just festooned with detail, but it doesn't feel cluttered, it doesn't feel overwrought. There are the two Slaaneshi symbols either side, and then even alongside this you have this, I don't know what you call it, this demon shape. Just festooned with, okay, let's come to the shoulder pad. Okay, this is where things will get a little bit tricky when it comes to cleanup. You'll have to individually pop this in here. Get a new sharp blade for this. Don't use an old blade. Nice new sharp blade. Pop it in there. Oh, look at this. Oh, that's a really cool detail. Look, it's detailed inside here and detailed underneath as well. Again, it would have been so easy to have forgotten about that detail. It's a little bit like detailing the underneath of a rhino. Nobody looks at the underside of a rhino. Well, I don't paint the underside of rhinos. So it would have been easy for the artist not to have done that and to have left it. I mean, that shows real care and passion for this project, that they took the extra time it would have taken to do that. You have all these beautiful arcing shapes that kind of have hard edged lines and vicious barbs at the end. It's a very cruel shape. I mean, these shapes aren't too dissimilar to the shapes on Sanguinius's armor, the flowing script, the flowing movements of the lines. But this, it has a more arced, decadent, pointed end. It's sharp, it's vicious, it's horrible. And then we have some teeth there. Yeah, absolutely beautiful, beautiful design. I'm sorry if I'm going to fawn over this. It's not often you get a sculpt like this where you become passionate about, where you can really delve into, you can look at every single detail. Swords. Okay, do you remember when you first got into the hobby? I'm not sure when you got into the hobby, but you had that first miniature that you saw and it just blew you away. For me, it was Teclis, the old Teclis, who with the big pointy hat pointing his two arms up either side. I remember looking at that miniature for hours. I had a white dwarf in front of me, just staring at it, crawling over every single little detail on there. I'm not sure if you've had that experience, that when you first got into the hobby, there's a miniature or a piece of art or something where you were transfixed by it and you couldn't move your attention away, and you'd spend an inordinate amount of time staring at it. I think Fulgrim feels like that. Because even on the ends, on the details of the sword, like you have these gorgeous little spikes. This would make a great sword. Again, for Slaaneshi lords, you can kit bash this into other bits and pieces, other lords. The old world's coming out, so it'd be great to see these parts used on Slaaneshi tribes. Just unreal, absolutely unreal. Yeah, beautiful. Even something like this, it could have been so easy to copy and paste it across. You have the rings on his fingers, the gems, the jewels, the faces crawling out. There's very little negative space on this piece. It's a piece that is forming into something else, something more cruel. You have his skirts. Beautiful faces. I think these details are going to be very popular with Night Lords players, because you can very easily clip them off, use a bit of blue stuff to take an impression, and then you can just reproduce them over and over and over again. You have the Slaaneshi symbols on the base. Copied there. Okay, let's see what else we have. This is reminiscent of the artwork in, I think it's book 1, I think it was, of the Black Book series produced by Forge World, the Emperor's Children symbol. You know, this elongated, fanned out wing structure. This, the eagle. Ah, these details, okay. In all Primarch sculpts, you have these little details. And Simon, if you ever watch this, somebody could pass it on. For a commission painter, these details are absolute murder because you put everything together, you paint everything, and then you have to think about how you transport it to your client. Oh my God. But I'd much rather these details, I'd much rather deal with a headache than not have them. So thank you very much for hosting them, but they are a nightmare to ship. Yeah. I think this is his golden halo, or his equivalent halo. Slaaneshi halo. Yeah, this is a piece that's metamorphosizing into something else. You can tell with each one of these pieces, I mean, you can almost imagine these crawling and forming and moving as the character. If you saw Fulgrim, if you ever had the horrible experience of seeing Fulgrim Transfigured in real life, and you observed this piece of armor, you can see it moving and shaping and forming into something else. That's the impression this sculpt is giving me. It's becoming something more cruel. Even under here, look at the detailing we have on the underneath. Just sublime. Ooh, horrible fleshy bits. I'm not sure what that is. It reminds me of the boob worm from Warhammer Fantasy, and this nice curved section. Not sure what that is. Maybe on the end of his tail. We have the arms. They're again festooned with detail. And each one is different. So we have 2 bare arms. We have one that's bejeweled and one that's beleathered. Oh, and even then, he got like a really nice piece of detailing here. Horns. I believe these stick out of the wings. Again, very, very hard to transport, very easy to break. You have the feathers, well-detailed feathers, more horns, and even on the horns you have jewels. Everything has been pushed to excess with this piece. And finally, his grasping hand. That I believe, yeah, webbed. We have webbed hands. Are they webbed? I am not going to cut those just in case they are webbed. I don't want to take the risk. There we have him, Fulgrim Transfigured. Fulgrim Transfigured. Is it worth your money? Ooh, well, if you're an Emperor's Children player, looking beyond the rules, because this isn't a rules discussion, that's a whole other different thing. Yes, I think you should buy it. Why? Well, I think if you collect a Legion, you should buy that Primarch to go alongside it. Because not only is it the center of your aesthetic, of your force, they're also the archetype that runs throughout. And all of the Primarch miniatures are gorgeous pieces. Even to own and have standalone pieces, I think it is well worth the investment for you. For the casual collector, £175 is a lot. If you're just going to buy it and keep it in a cabinet, no. It's just simply too costly for that. For a miniature painter, for a collector, yes, this is 100% a buy. When you look at Games Workshop's production line, when you look at the back history of miniatures that they've made, things that you've fallen in love with, collector's pieces, there are a few bits and pieces that stand out. For me, Teclis, the box note, the original box note, the Contemptor Dreadnought when it first came out, Angron when he was first released. There are certain lich pins throughout Citadel's history that I think are worth investing in as a collector and as a miniature painter. As a miniature painter, this does present a whole heap of different challenges. This presents a lot of different challenges for you to tackle. I would recommend it for intermediate to advanced users. However, the miniature is nice and large with open details that you could, I think it would look pretty good with just contrast paint added over the top. Use the slap chop methodology, black undercoat, heavy dry brush of white, contrast over the top. The detail is there to support that kind of miniature painting. I think you'd end up with a pretty good product at the end of it. So as a miniature painter, yes, I 100% would recommend this, even with the £175 price attached to it. The miniature is great, the sculpture is great, the detailing is phenomenal on it. When it's put together, which I'll do in the next video, I think it's going to look stunning, and it will create the centerpiece of any miniature painting collection. Hope you enjoyed that video. If you would like to see me paint this bad boy, you can follow along on the Patreon. You could gain access to all Legion tutorials. We've done every single one with most of the Primarchs. We've done 40k, we've done basing. If it's worth painting, we've painted it. And you get access to all of this, nearly 7 years worth of materials, just for $15. That's it. That is it, $15 you get access to the entire library. Can't wait to host you guys there if we do see you. If not, bang a like on this video because it helps with the algorithm, and God knows we need the help with the algorithm when it comes to YouTube. I'll catch you in the next vid.